Okay, let's just dive right in, because we're about to challenge an idea you've probably heard your whole life. What if those habits you've been told are lazy, yeah, you know the ones, what if they aren't weaknesses at all? What if they're actually secret strengths of a super efficient brain? This quote right here, it gets to the very heart of what we're talking about. It's this powerful clash of ideas, isn't it? On one side, you have societal judgment. On the other, you have mental efficiency. And just to be clear, we're not making excuses. We're actually digging into the science of how our brains are wired to work smarter, not harder. And here's the absolute key to understanding this. Your brain is an energy hog. Seriously, it's constantly making decisions about where to spend its very limited resources. So, the habits we're going to get into, they're not character flaws. They're actually the result of a brain that's ruthlessly prioritizing what it thinks is most important. This really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Let's break it down. Society might look at a messy desk and just label it messy, but psychology sees a brain that's prioritizing. Or how about staying home on a Friday night? That's not being antisocial, it's being self-sufficient. Putting off a big project? Well, maybe your brain is just incubating a brilliant idea. All that daydreaming, that's your creative side exploring. Taking shortcuts, that's just efficient pathfinding. And being a little forgetful? Well, that's your brain doing you a favor by filtering out junk you don't need. It really is all about reframing the whole story. So, let's tackle a classic from that list, the messy desk. We've all heard it, right? Maybe we've even said it ourselves. You see a desk piled high with papers, books, maybe a few coffee cups, and the immediate assumption is just chaos. But is that really what's going on? Well, there's a psychological concept for this, and it's called selective organization. Basically, it means your brain has made a calculated choice. It's decided that the energy it would take to perfectly arrange every single thing on your desk is way better spent on the big picture. Like developing a complex new idea or solving a really tough problem. Exactly. The big picture always takes priority over the tiny details. Your focus isn't on the physical order of your space, but on the intellectual order inside your head. You know exactly where everything is because your brain has created its own system, a system that's probably invisible to everybody else. Okay, let's move on to the next one and see how this pattern keeps showing up. In a world that's always shouting about going out and being social, choosing a quiet night in can get you labeled as boring or even antisocial. But again, what if our brains are just wired a little differently? And yep, there's a term for this one too. It's called intrinsic stimulation. You can almost think of it as a superpower, the ability to find the world inside your own head just as fascinating and engaging as the world outside. It's not a lack of adventure at all. It's having a mind that is an adventure. I mean, why would you seek constant external noise when you have such a rich inner world to explore? People who have high intrinsic stimulation can entertain themselves for hours just by thinking, creating, and processing ideas. Their brain is its own source of fun, which, if you think about it, is an incredibly efficient way to operate. So, are you starting to see the pattern here? It all starts with a habit that society slaps a lazy label on, whether that's messiness or daydreaming or taking a shortcut. But what's really happening underneath it all is that your brain is strategically saving its energy for what it considers to be more important. And the result? More of your brain power is freed up for deeper, more creative, and more complex thinking. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. That one thing you might feel a little self-conscious about, whether it's a cluttered desk or your love of solitude, it might not be a flaw that you need to fix. It could be the very evidence that your brain is optimized for a higher level of functioning. It's a sign of a brain that's working smarter, not just harder. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Take a look at your own life, your own habits. What's one thing you've always thought of as lazy that after this might just be your brain being incredibly efficient? Seriously, the answer could completely change the way you see yourself.